Hello everyone, Swastiastu. Welcome back to my video. My name is Kadek Intan Dwi Lestari. My student number is 211171028. I'm from class A1 in Pasar in second semester. Today, I would like to explain learning material about the concept of materialism education. So, let's get started. We will learn about the concept of materialism education, and for the material will be explained are: the first one is the history of materialism philosophy, definition, the purpose of materialism philosophy, figures and the flow from materialism philosophy, the basic concept, advantages and disadvantages, implementation of the materialism philosophy for education, and for the last, I have a conclusion for this learning material. So, we start from the history of materialism philosophy. Before that, I want to ask you, do you know the history of this philosophy? The seeds of materialism have been around since ancient Greece. In the 1st century, the notion of materialism did not receive a serious response. Even in the century, people were considerably foreign to this understanding. The philosopher who first introduced this notion was Epicurus. It is one of the foremost ancient works of philosophy. Apart from Epicurus, other works that also contribute to the development of this school philosophy were Democritus and Lucretius Cars. The opinion about materialism we can equate with the materialism that developed in France during the Enlightenment. Two essays by Lamartine which are quite famous for representing this ideology are Elham Machine or We Know Machine Man and Elham Plans and We Know Plan Man. And the next is definition. What is the definition of materialism philosophy? Materialism is a school in philosophy which views are based on matter or objects. Materialism views things as primary while ideas are secondary. Because the material is there first, then there are ideas, this view is based on reality according to the process of time and matter. For example, according to the process of time, long before human who had universe already existed. According to substance, human cannot think or have ideas if they do not have a brain. The brain or this material that first existed that the ideas emerged from it. Or as Marx said, it is not the mind that determines the association, but the circumstance of the association that determine the mind. It means that the nature or talk of an individual is determined by the circumstance and the surrounding community. The surrounding community, this becomes the material or cause that encourage the creation of thought in the individual. The next material is the purpose of materialism philosophy. One of the foundations in curriculum development is a philosophical foundation. Philosophy plays an important role in curriculum as well as educational philosophy. We are introduced to various flows of philosophy, one of which is materialism. As with other flow of philosophy, the flow of materialism is a goal for educational in curriculum development. In essence, we will always base it on a certain flow, so that it will color the concept and implementation of the curriculum being developed. And the next material are features and the flow from materialism philosophy. Let's start from the features. There are several features in the materialism philosophy. The first one is Democritus. As you can see on the video, Democritus was a pioneer of the classic view of materialism, also known as atomism. The second one is Julian de Lamettrie, expressing his thought that animals and humans are no different, because they are all considered machines. The proof is matter or body without soul can live or move, while soul without matter or body cannot exist. The frog's heart that was removed from the frog's body still beats or alive even for a few moments. The third is Ludwig Feuerbach. Ludwig Feuerbach proclaimed metaphysics, humanistic ethics, and epistemology that upholds sensory recognition. Therefore, he wanted to replace the idealism of Hegel, or as we know, Feuerbach teachers, with materialism. And the last is Karl Marx. His full name is Karl Heinrich Marx. He was born in Tyrol, Prussia, Germany. While a student, he was influenced by Hegel teachings and was able to obtain a doctorate in philosophy. The talk of Karl Marx is also called dialectical materialism and historical materialism. In thinking, Karl Marx used Hegel dialectic. Therefore, it is called the dialectic of materialism. It is also called historical materialism because it is based on the development of society or its material history. And for the flow of materialism, philosophy, the first one is philosophical materialism, the second one is mechanical materialism, anti-metaphysical materialism, dialectical materialism, anthropological materialism, historical materialism, and practical materialism. Then, the next material is the basic concept of materialism. The basic concept of materialism philosophy. Materialism holds that the essence of realism is material, not spiritual or supernatural. The philosophy of materialism views that matter first existed while ideas or thought rise after seeing matter. In other, materialism recognizes that matter determines ideas, not ideas determine matter. And for the example, because table or chair objectively exist, people think of table and chairs. Can one think of a table or chairs before objects in the form of tables and chairs do not exist or do not exist? And the characteristic of the philosophy of materialism is, the first one is, everything that exists or form comes from one source, namely matter. And then do not believe in the unseen natures. The third one is making the five senses the only means of achieving knowledge. And then positioning science as a substitute for religion in playing the law. And the last one is making inclinations and human nature as we call akhlaq. The materialism philosophy also have advantages and disadvantages, same as other philosophy. And for the advantages, the first one is, his theories are based on general theories of knowledge. The second one is the content of education includes knowledge that can be trusted, reliable, and organized, always relate to behavioral goals. And the third one is, all lessons are generated with conditioning, programmatic lessons, and competencies. And for disadvantages, the first one is, in the world of education, the flow of materialism is only teacher-centered and does not give freedom to students. For him, it is the teacher who has the power to design and control the educational process. Teachers can measure the quality and character of students' learning outcomes. While students have no freedom, behavior is determined by external forces, lessons, or designs. Students are prepared to live, they are required to learn. And the last is, in class, students are only presented with a pile of material knowledge, both in textbooks and in the teaching and learning process. What happens is the process of enriching cognitive knowledge without effort to internalize its value. As a result, there is a big gap between what is taught and what happens in the daily lives of students. religious education becomes dull, unable to change their attitudes. And I have the last material. The last material is the implementation of the materialism philosophy for education. As we know, the materialism also important in learning and have implementations. The implementation, those are, the first one is materialism's view of learning positivism. Choosing the flow of positivism means rejecting the philosophy of education and prioritizing educational science. We call it positivism because they think that what we can learn is only what is based on facts, based on real data, which we can call positive. And the second one is materialism view of learning behaviorism. According to behaviorism, human behavior is the result of formation through environmental condition. What is meant by behavior are things that change, can be observed, and can be measured. This implies that the educational process or learning process emphasizes the importance of empirical academic skills and knowledge as a result of scientific studies, as well as social behavior as a result of learning. And before I will close this video, I have a conclusion for this material. And the conclusion is, the philosophy of materialism holds that matter first excited, while ideas or thought appear after seeing matter. So, basically, everything is made up of matter and all phenomena are the result of material interaction. Matter is the only substance. As a theory, materialism is a monistic ontology. However, materialism is different from ontological theory, which is based on dualism or pluralism. In providing a single explanation of reality. Materialism contradicts of idealism. And that's all the material about the concept of materialism education. I hope you can learn and understand about it. And thank you so much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.